For Israel, these scenes of released security prisoners hoisted on their supporters' shoulders are still traumatic to this day, a decade later. But for Palestinians, the Gilad Shalit deal created a new reality.
What happened in this deal, Gilad Shalit deal with the Hamas, was a victory for the Palestinian people and also was a big achievement for the Hamas movement.
1,027 prisoners were released from Israeli prisons in 2 beats. That's the highest price Israel ever paid to get back one of its sons. The first one saw the release of the most dangerous 477 Hamas operatives. Out of them, 250 were convicted of murdering 569 Israelis, and many of them are seen as heroes.
Almost every family use at one time to have a prisoner inside the Israeli jail. So the exchange is always a positive step, a successful, and that's how everybody saw the Shalit deal.
But there's another factor at play here, and that's Palestinian internal politics.
Any achievement of Hamas movement will be on the expense of the Palestinian Authority because there is now a competition between Hamas and Palestinian Authority to gain the public support, and Hamas is maybe an alternative for the Palestinian Authority.
Out of the 1,027 released prisoners, a group of around 20 people went on to rock the Palestinian political system. The most prominent of them ended up leading Hamas in Gaza. His name, Yahya Sinwar.
These people who have been released from the Shalit deal, who are now conducting negotiations with Israel through Qatar or through Egypt or through the United Nations on various issues, whether calming down the situation in Gaza, stopping the balloons or the rockets, or even now negotiation on a second prisoner exchange.
Since 2014, Hamas has been holding 2 Israeli citizens and the bodies of 2 soldiers. The anniversary of Shalit's release comes as Israel and Hamas are engaged in indirect talks towards a second prisoner swap. And this time around, Hamas is aiming for an even higher number.
Remember the number, 1,111. What is it about this number? We won't elaborate at the moment, but the time will come for it later. Save it for the Gaza Strip's resistance and Hamas. The number 1,111.
It appears to be clear to all sides involved that the previous deal set the bar moving forward.
I think Shalit deal now is a model for any agreement between Hamas and Israeli government. And because of that, I don't think that Hamas will accept any deal with Israel less than a Shalit deal. This is now maybe the average of what Hamas will demand and will achieve as a part of this deal.
Until then, tensions between Israel and Hamas will remain high. And with the memory of the Shalit deal still fresh, there could be some time until we see a second such deal come to light.